nervous from Calgary, something like that. I'm sure both of us being strikers, we should get the crowd in up.
Well, I know about Damien. He had a skill set, so today this time I get to see what the best Damien looks like.
I want to win this fight. I'm definitely going to win it on my team. Hoping for TKO, body strikes, high organ kicks. I don't think I'm going to stand the ground with them. Those are going to get back up.
Basically, I've trained in every aspect of the game, so I'm ready to work like those. And, we challenge to meet everybody in every aspect of the game, so every like those I'm ready. It's exciting.
I'm just hoping for a good fight. I want Chris to fly. I want the crowd to be screaming. If it ends in my favor, it's a bonus. If not, see you guys next time. Try harder.
I've already won the fight in my eyes. Have fun.
This school of hard knocks fight is an amateur bout in the 145-pound division and is brought to you by Pro Coat Coatings. And now, through the fighters.
So coming down to the cage in our second fight of the night, we have DeMarco, who will be fighting in the blue corner out of the Fight Center in Thunder Bay, Ontario, in this 145-pound matchup. Jeremy, 0-1 to start off his amateur career and really looking to get into the win column here tonight.
Well, it was a tough one for DeMarco because he came out and he was at Hard Knocks 36. He comes out, he's fighting pretty well. He's actually sticking some punches. They had a few grappling sessions, and then he got an overhand right from Chris Kamenetsky that put him on his ass, and it was unfortunate for him. Just caught him on the right spot, and really we didn't get a chance to see what DeMarco can do.
No, it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do tonight. And I mean, he's got some fairly talented training partners in his corner. We see the Caveman Bully in there, as well as Curtis Richard, who has fought in the Hard Knocks cage before as well. Both of these guys well known to Hard Knocks fans, and Mike will be fighting later tonight, Mike O'Neill. So these guys very competent training partners, and they say that Damien's ready to go.
Look, DeMarco has started to commit himself to mixed martial arts. He very much values the structure that it gives him, that he knows that when he wakes up in the morning, he's got to do a workout. Then he has to go to work, then he has to go and train, and that's just what he needs to do to be able to structure his life. And I talked to him about life balance. He's got a young daughter at home, and I say, so how do you deal with that? I say, honestly, it's because of the mixed martial arts and because of the structure that I give myself that has created balance in my life.
Yeah, it's also interesting to talk about guys when you talk about them cutting weight for the fight. He said that committing to the fighter lifestyle also means he has a better control of his weight. He didn't need to cut as much for this fight to get down to that 145-pound class. So it feels like he's in more control of himself as a fighter. And like you mentioned, Jeremy, he's starting to take it more seriously.
Well, he's a very tall fighter in his weight class. Says he has a big advantage because his opponent, Anim Shaun, who we're going to meet pretty quick, has the same build as Mike O'Neill.
And now we will meet his opponent.
His opponent.
Now coming down to the cage, Anim Shaun, who comes to us out of Dynamic MMA here in Calgary, Alberta. Dynamic, Jeremy, funneling tons of fighters through the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship. You can see one behind him there, Matt Braco. But Idris comes to us with an 0-1 record as well.
Anim Shaun was in a fight with somebody, and he dominated every aspect of the game. He was out-striking, out-grappling, he was taking down, he was advancing position. He lost the fight. He lost the fight because it went to the judges' scorecards, and they happened to see something different than you saw, than I saw, than anyone in the crowd saw. It was a huge a booing ovation when the result went against him. And so he knows now that that was my mistake. My mistake was letting it go to the judges.
Yeah, and you'll hear that a lot from fighters, Jeremy, as they work their way up. Later tonight, Ryan Dixon in our main event, the pro ranks, 9 wins, 9 finishes. He does not let it get to the judges, and young fighters can certainly take a lesson from him. You have to try and finish the fight. It's not just enough to win the fight, because that may not be enough.
I think the bigger point in, when you look especially at Ryan Dixon, 9 wins, 2 losses, 9 wins, finish, 2 losses, decision. 2 losses by decision. So this is why they have the amateur ranks. This gives those opportunities to fighters to learn and say, hey, I can't do that anymore. I've got to be the one who finishes the fight. This is, for Anim Shaun, he really changes who he is the second he steps into the cage. Very, very smart, well-spoken guy outside the cage. He says once he steps in the cage, his muscle memory takes over, and that's when he becomes the fighter Anim Shaun, not the man Anim Shaun.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. Certainly said he relies on his coaches to continue developing his game and teach him the new skills. And he figures that his coaches have given him the advantage he'll need here tonight against DeMarco.
We look at the tail of the tape here. 26 years old for DeMarco. The big difference there, the record's the same, the age about the same. 6'0" for DeMarco. That is a 7-foot advantage, and that can equate to 7-inch advantage. 7 foot. This is what happens when you do these things all the time.
Now for our official fighter introductions, we'll head inside the cage to Jaden Nance.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introductions. In the blue corner for Pro Code Coatings, he's 0-1 as an amateur, 26 years old, and stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of the Fight Center from Thunder Bay, Ontario, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, DeMarco. And in the red corner for Big 4 Motors, he's 0-1 as an amateur, 25 years old, and stands 5 feet, 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 144 pounds, fighting out of Dynamic MMA from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Anim Shaun.
Find that chin.
This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Andy Social.
Andy Social, our referee for this fight tonight between Anim Shaun coming out of the red corner, DeMarco coming out of the blue corner. Of course, as you mentioned, Jeremy, DeMarco with the 7-inch height advantage. That normally works out to about a 3 to 4 inch reach advantage, and he said he's looking to take advantage of that here tonight.
He's a very long 6-foot fighter, so he's actually, looks like he has even more of that as he starts with a kick, but Anim Shaun immediately closing the distance and securing a takedown, and that's one way to counter the length, is just get inside of it, eat a shot, and get in.
DeMarco trying to isolate an arm from the bottom. Anim Shaun, a nice pass there through the guard and now into a mounted position. Now from here again, he's going to need to try and find a submission, Jeremy, because while you can punch to the body, you certainly can't punch to the head, and he might be getting a little high up here in his positioning.
With the position that he has against the cage, he's not in danger of being bucked off in the traditional sense because he has the cage as a backstop. So what he needs to do here is be able to really isolate, and you see him isolating an arm, which is opening up the gut, and I'm surprised, and there it is. He started to land, and again, not big damage, but it does score points in the eyes of the judges.
Yeah, again, here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship under the Calgary Commission, a 10-point must system. And Anim Shaun on top. DeMarco trying to posture up, get out of there, Jeremy, but so far unsuccessful. Anim Shaun doing a very good job of controlling his opponent here.
Is, and when you look at DeMarco, he kind of appears to be moderately panicking, as he should now with that arm. But it's very important that you relax when you're on the bottom, because if you expend too much energy, you're not going to have anything left to be able to get there. And this is a position where Anim Shaun can ride. He's now looked to isolate an arm, and we could have a second straight arm lock finish.
Anim Shaun on top. Both just calling for DeMarco to get out. You could see Anim Shaun loading that right hand, Jeremy, but then dropping it to his side, or a left rather, knowing again you cannot hit the head of a downed opponent, and you saw it come back and then drop. So instinct for Anim Shaun, maybe weighing out his brain, stopping the blow.
But he's transitioned here to an armbar, he's got it, and instantly taps. As soon as he stepped through and he had good position, it was just a matter of time. And Anim Shaun, again, rides that top position, waits for his opportunity. It could have been that he could have been trying to set that up for 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah, great finish there from Anim Shaun, who wins via armbar to get the first win of his amateur career. On the other side, DeMarco falls up.
So Anim Shaun, he's got to be happy with himself here, as it's got to vindicate him from that first fight where he lost by decision, that really close decision that went against him. So perhaps this a little bit of retribution for Anim Shaun.
We would like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Christopher Morse and Tracy at Kaleo Helmand Spine for their time and commitment in helping Hard Knocks fighters complete their medical requirements.
You see the corner of Anim Shaun and now the corner of DeMarco, who again put out a good fight, but he still needs to work on those full positions and make sure that they're ready to go. It looks like we are ready with our official decision. So for that decision, we'll throw it in the cage to Mr. Jay Nance.
And now, the official decision brought to you by Pro Coat Coatings. The winner by tap out due to armbar at 2 minutes and 8 seconds in the very first round. In the red corner, Anim Shaun.
So Idris Anim Shaun is the winner, his first amateur win. He's going to be in the center of the cage with Ryan.
Idris, we'll get you over here, center of the cage. You come in tonight, your first fight was awfully similar to this one, only the judges didn't see it your way. Now this time you don't leave it for the judges to decide, you just get it done in the very first round.
Oh, that's how we train, that dynamic. Don't leave it to the judges. We all know what happens when the judges make the call, so.
Now, once you got him down to the ground, you were able to position up into the mount quite effectively, and it seemed like no matter how much scrambling he was doing, you weren't going to let him get away.
Well, to be honest, I felt a lot stronger than him, so I felt like I could control him. I wanted to take my time and maybe get a few shots in. Well, I saw the armbar and I just said, go for it, have fun.
So once you locked in the armbar, must have felt pretty good to get that first win when he's tapping on your legs then.
Yeah, to be honest, it was too quick. I wanted to have more fun.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your winner, Idris Anim Shaun.
So Idris Anim Shaun gets his first victory, and a fighter, Ari, that had a very rough go of it his very first fight. He had a very close decision that went against him, and like he said in there, you never leave it to the decision.
Absolutely. Idris is a great fighter. I've trained with him. He's really, really strong. He put pressure on his opponent. His opponent pulled guard, which is a big no-no, and he finished the fight, which is great.
So Idris Anim Shaun, once he was in that position, once he took him down with that great control, took his time, waited for his spot to go, and was able to secure in that armbar. Why is that progression and that patience so important?
Well, I think I never really want to give up a good position for a bad position. And so if you don't finish that armbar, you end up in a bad position. So he waited till he finished it and he got it, so that was good.
Ari, thank you very much for your analysis. We'll see you next fight. Ryan, a stellar fight for Idris Anim Shaun. Every single aspect that he did was stellar. He was able to abandon the reach, was able to get inside and take away that advantage that DeMarco had.
Yeah, it seemed early on DeMarco tried to engage with him, tried to throw a couple strikes, but it was Anim Shaun just catching the kick, driving through a takedown, a nice solid takedown, and was able to control the fight from that point to the end.
It's all about patience. Like Ari mentioned, it's very important that you take your time and get those great positions that Idris Anim Shaun works every day. Dynamic MMA, again, a Calgary gym that supplies us with some great fighters, including the man we saw in the corner, Matt Krako, who had probably the fight of the year against Peter Arbo at our last event. But why do these gyms, again, we continue to use the same gyms over and over again? Is it because we're familiar or because they're supplying great fighters?
Well, they are supplying great fighters, and we've got 2 more fighters coming up now. We'll take a closer look at these fighters right now.